good to see you too.
How you doing? How's your summer going? You know, we were talking backstage, and I touched you on the arm like this, and it was like concrete. It was like iron. And I said, "Oh my God, what have you been doing?" And you said,
surfing.
Surfing.
Yeah.
Good for you. And are you an accomplished surfer?
I'm terrible. Really? Yeah, I'm really bad. But that actually, I think, gets you in better shape because you have to paddle a lot. You're always in the wrong place.
Well, people,
It's true.
I've never done it, but people tell me just paddling out alone will exhaust you. Just getting on the board will exhaust you.
Yeah, it's pretty exhausting. And then getting, I mean, I had like a couple good near-death experiences. Those are pretty tiring too.
And what happens? Did you get hit in the head with the board?
No, just really big waves.
Yeah.
I mean, big for me, not for real surfers,
right.
But, you know, for a beginner.
Now, did you get to the point where you can just ride an actual wave in?
Oh, yeah.
That must be thrilling, isn't it?
It's one of the most amazing feelings that I've ever had. The problem is when you miss a wave and you paddle for it, and then you're kind of on the inside, and then the big waves come behind it, you take them on the head.
Oh. And do you learn how to read the waves and where they're breaking and the
I'm
point
told
break
eventually
and all of
that will happen. Yeah. That hasn't happened for me yet.
How long have you been surfing?
Well, I started it like 6 years ago, like just on a summer kind of vacation, and then I kind of do it here and there. So probably all told, like maybe like 6 weeks.
Well, good for you. You know. I mean, why not, for heaven's sakes? Now, I'm disturbed to hear about this, that you have been living in New York City a long time, and now you've decided you're moving to Los Angeles. Nothing wrong with Los Angeles in that area. Orange County. Have you ever been to Orange County? Nice. Very nice down there in Orange County, where the NSA is headquarters. But that guy... Why are you moving?
Surfing.
No, boy, that would be so cool. If that was it, how cool would that be?
It would be cool,
yeah.
But it's not why I'm moving, really. No, I'm just, we're gonna give it a shot for a few years while the kids are young and you know, have a yard and you know, be right down the street from my buddy Ben and you know, we've got a company together and we actually rented offices.
Wow.
Now that he won the Oscar for Best Picture.
How about that guy, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Tell me about your family again. Run a minute. You got 5 children, am I right about that?
4. Yeah,
all right. Tell me the ages and the gender.
2, 4, 7, 15, all girls.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Now, it's either crazy or great. It's probably a little of both, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little of both. It's really fun. I mean, it's really fun, but it is a little. It's a high estrogen environment.
Yeah. And you're taking them to California so they'll be with more of their friends and stuff?
Yeah, a lot of our friends with little kids are out there, and friends they've had, you know, and they've known and they see on and off. And
you know what I've noticed here, and you've gone through the same thing, is the play dates. Of course, now when I was a kid, there was nothing like a play date. But here, you'll have a play date in an elevator. I mean, it's not right. It's not the way kids are supposed to be.
No, it's true, and yeah, that's one of the challenging things about the city. I mean, look, I'm not leaving New York. I love New York. This is still my favorite place in the world, and I love living here, and I'll live here again. But yeah, you do find yourself having play dates in incredibly small places, and it doesn't like. You know, when we were kids, it was like, just don't come home until it's dark.
That's right.
We weren't actually allowed to come inside.
You're exactly right. It was your internal clock would tell you when dinner was set on the table. And, then you'd go home, and that was it. It was and nothing happened there, really. It was all good. Yeah, no, so there are pros and cons to each city. Are the girls excited about moving?
They're really excited about going. You know, they have their friends out there.
Yeah, and you got them in schools and stuff now?
We did. It took a long time and a lot of research.
It's a process, isn't it, to get into schools?
Yeah.
Did you ever think about homeschooling? I know a lot of the top stars. I know a lot of the top stars homeschool. Think about that. No. Well, that's just as well.
No, we don't do that.
No, you don't do that. This Elysium, boy, this is almost the way the world is now. It's people who are just eating dirt, and then people who are wealthy living in this outer space deal. It's just kind of the way things are now.
Yeah, no.
Well, I mean, other than the outer space part of it.
Yeah, and then there was an article today in the New York Times that said apparently all the pressure for, because for Sony Pictures, all the pressure is on Elysium.
No,
for their
really?
whole summer.
Yeah. So why? You don't need that.
Thanks, New York Times.
Yeah. Well, I don't understand. Explain that to me from a business standpoint. What are we talking about?
Well, they've had some hits and they've had some misses and stuff, so it's all going to ride on Elysium, according to the New York Times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Now, does that filter down to you? Do you feel the pressure?
Yeah, no, what happens for me is I just feel pressure to try to make good movies, but no, for me, a weird thing happens where I get this kind of weird, almost Tourette's thing where I just immediately think of the exact wrong thing to say to try to get people to come see the movie. Okay. Ask me what Elysium's about.
Well, tell us a little bit about the film Elysium.
Well, how much do you know about fracking?
Well, I know. What?
Literally, the head of Sony, Amy Pascal's head just exploded in L.A.
Now, you're talking about the fracking movie that you made before. I enjoyed the fracking movie.
Thank you, and so did I, but we were the only two people who saw it.
That can't be so. And the other guy, your other buddy, was in the movie.
Yeah, John Krasinski.
Yes,
yeah,
and I thought it was informational. And this fracking, I'm telling you, you get yourself on the wrong end of the fracking, it's bad business. It is bad business.
That's why we made Elysium.
That's right.
It is a science fiction fracking movie.
No, we're selling tickets now, but it's
like hotcakes.
No, fracking. Here's the problem. Elysium. Here's the solution.
Yes, exactly.
See,
exactly.
This man knows what he's doing. But the fracking, water is disappearing from the planet. I mean, we have poisoned and drained the great aquifers underneath the Great Plains, for heaven's sakes.
Literally, now probably there are about 300 studio executives in Sony whose brains are melting right now.
They're going, wait, brains? Yeah. Good one, huh?
Wow.
Listen, we'll do a thing and then we'll come back.
Fantastic.
All right, we'll be right. The new movie Elysium opens August 9th. Very nice. There's many things that I would like to ask you about, but we'll start with this one. I know a little something about this project. George Clooney is the director. Maybe he did the screenplay, I'm not sure. But it stars you, George Clooney, Bill Murray, John Goodman, on and on and on, others and others and others. It's a story from World War II about preserving art treasures that the Nazis had pillaged. Tell us about work. Had you worked with Bill Murray before?
No, I'd never worked with Bill. I was just a fan. And he and George became friends, about 5 or 6 years ago. And George really just put this whole group together. I mean, Bill's awesome in the movie. Yeah. He's really great. And George really was one of the best directors I've ever worked with. And I've worked with a lot of directors. Yeah.
That's amazing, isn't it?
It's so frustrating. It's like...
Yeah, I know.
No, it's honest to God. It's like God said, maybe this once I'm just gonna keep going. Maybe give him more. Sure, he's an actor and a writer and a producer. He's a director. Yeah, why not? It's obscene.
Yeah. Well, it could be God thinking, well, I've got to do something because he's so awfully homely. So we're going to have to load him up with something, for the love of God.
Something to help balance out those horrible looks.
But it must have been, were the three of you all together, and you throw John Goodman into this mix, and you got a party, my friend. Did you guys do stuff while you were filming?
We mostly would go out for dinners, Saturday nights. I mean, George was super focused. It's a huge movie. It's a big World War II fracking movie, actually.
Wow. The fracking things are it's all anybody's talking about, really.
Yeah, it's for the same studio, so they're going to be thrilled. Wow, I've got a summer and a Christmas movie with them, and they're both about fracking.
It's a fracking Christmas with Matt Damon. Hey, I got your fracking Christmas. Let's talk about Speaking of water, I admire this, what you've done with getting water, potable water, to people, and we're running out of it, getting it to children and people who don't have safe water to drink. How is that going? Who is involved in this, and how do they get water if they don't have it?
Well, it's water.org is the foundation. And
is that what this picture is with your head in the toilet?
Oh, no, oh, yeah. No, earlier this year, I went on a toilet strike. I stopped going to the bathroom. And I did that for about 6 months to draw attention to the fact that 2.5 billion people lack access to adequate sanitation. You know, actually more people have a cell phone than have access to a toilet.
Well, if you want staggering statistics, the #1 killer of young people in Africa, do you know what it is? The #1 killer. #1 killer.
Clean water.
It's related.
What is it?
Diarrhea.
Well, yeah, that's no.
It's not funny.
Not funny at all.
No, there's nothing funny.
We talk about that, like because that is actually one of the ways. Because you try to get people to relate to it. It's very hard for people to relate to it here because we just go to the sink to get clean water. But when you say that, parents they can connect that because all of our kids have dealt with that, and it's not a big deal. I mean, a lot of times you don't even keep them home from school.
Right. It should not be a big deal
because the cure is clean water. But if you can't get access to clean water, it can kill people. It's actually every 21 seconds. A child under the age of 5 dies because they lack access to clean water and sanitation.
It's the same thing. And we are so lucky in our part of the world, but most people are not within like 90 minutes or 150 miles or 200 miles of modern medical treatment.
Yeah, or I mean, oftentimes the cure is just clean water. Right. You know, you don't even have to go to a hospital. You just need some clean water, and you know. It's
a giant puzzle, and we've scrambled the pieces.
Yeah, but look, I'm a perennial optimist. I mean, we reached 1 million people last October. We hit our first 1 million people reached, and thanks. And we're going like we're going. And a lot of people are you know, and I meet the new generation, like the kids coming out of college now, are just so much cooler than my generation, and so much more selfless. And you know, I really think they're gonna do a lot.
That's great to hear, because I've given up, and I've worried. I've worried about and you have the 4 girls to worry about. I have 1 son to worry about. Anybody with kids should be looking ahead and worrying about situations like this. And while now they may seem removed and distant and just a problem for others, but in the future they're going to be right at our front door.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And also I have my daughters to worry about, but now I also worry about your son, because I have 4 daughters.
Right.
You know, I mean. So imagine how much pressure that puts on me, and on top of that,
you're a man with a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
Starting a foundation to raise money to keep my son away from his family. Well, okay, enough of this. Let's look at Elysium. This is where the wealthy people live when the rest of us are crawling around eating dirt. What are we going to see? It's a clip here.
This is not the fracking part of the movie. This is a different part. But it's I have to get to Elysium. I have 5 days, or I'm going to die. I have to get to Elysium where I can be healed of all my ailments. And I am now hijacking an Elysian citizen. It's a big action movie.
You know who's in the movie is Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster.
I like Jodie Foster.
I love Jodie Foster.
She's tremendous. I wish, I kind of wish she was here now. Well, I mean,
I didn't think.
But you know what I mean.
I thought the interview was going okay.
No, everything's. I misspoke. I'm so sorry. I hurt his feelings. I feel terrible.
I should also say that this movie, did you see District 9? Yeah, this is the same guy who did District 9.
No, I saw District 8. Oh.
You really missed out. You should see District 9.
All right, so here we're going to see it. This